All right. Hello. Good afternoon, Alabama. Hope everyone is having a great spring. And we're going to wait another minute or so for more people to join. Looks like we have a lot of great organizations today. I'm seeing some family centers, schools, art centers, and just wondering, did everyone get a chance to use their Uber Eats? If you didn't get to use the code, I believe it should be still good to use end of Friday. And if you do have any questions, just let me know in the Q&A box. And also, feel free to share in the Q&A box. The chat box itself is disabled, but you can put any question in the Q&A box and let me know what you're having for lunch today. Today, our office is having Vietnamese food, so a lot of pho noodles and some rice plates, vermicelli. I'm seeing someone got Mexican food, some burritos, someone got burgers. Oh, awesome. Someone got sushi. That's, I love sushi. I love seafood in general. Ooh, okay. Someone got Maple Street Bakery, squawking goat chicken, goat cheese biscuit sandwich. I just got goat cheese. So our grocery store is Safeway in the Bay Area in California. I love goat cheese in general. That sounds delicious. Someone from Montgomery, Alabama went to Wingstop. We love Wingstop here in California. And Buffalo Wild Wings, also great place to watch the game. Goat cheese with pepper jelly. That that sounds amazing. I wish I never had pepper jelly. I like that whole hot honey thing. Like if you have charcuterie, that's one of my favorites. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And I see so more burgers, hot dogs. Oh, pizza. We love pizza. Okay, perfect. I think we got mostly everyone here. So I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping. At the end of this presentation, I'll be sending a follow-up email with the HRCI and Shroom credits. And again, if you do have any questions, feel free to put in the Q&A box. And I'll try and get back to you at the end of the presentation or as soon as possible. These questions will be saved. And if you do want any further information, feel free to respond to the email I'll be sending with the credits. I may take a few hours to send that follow-up email. It probably will be sent to you by the next day in the morning. And then we're also going to send a recording of the presentation that you can share with your colleagues. So before we start, just wanted to do a little introduction of myself. My name is Janessa Ponko. I'm the membership development representative here at 501c Services. I've been in sales since 2016. I was selling vendor booth space at a wedding fair for 3 years. I've set up meetings for tech startups during the pandemic, and I've been scheduling meetings with nonprofits here at 501 since July 2023. And then the image on the right of People Bowling is of me and some of our sales and marketing team members. Heidi is my manager in the middle. You may work with her in the future. And then Evan is on the right. He does our marketing and web development. I'm really excited to be part of a company that's been helping nonprofits save time and money that can go towards furthering their mission. We're located in San Jose, California. So we're in the heart of the Silicon Valley, and we're dedicated to helping nonprofits reduce unemployment expenses across the nation. And thank you again for joining to learn more about cost-effective strategies and managing unemployment in your state. We're going to provide a broad overview on how unemployment insurance works, alternatives for 501c3 nonprofits when it comes to unemployment, how reimbursing works, and we're also going to use some real-life examples of nonprofits we've helped with our cost analysis, and finally provide more information on our company 501c Services and how many of our Alabama nonprofits have benefited from our services. So first of all, just wanted to start off with a little history to put unemployment in perspective. Unemployment started in the US in the 1930s following the Great Depression and New Deal, where the federal government wanted to create a safety net for workers who lost their jobs through no fault of their own. From 1930 to 1972, 501c organizations didn't pay into unemployment benefits for separated employees. Although this saved nonprofits money from paying these taxes, employees that were laid off couldn't reap the benefits of that safety net that for-profit companies had provided. Fast forward to 1972, the federal government changed the law under the Social Security Act to where nonprofits must pay into unemployment, but they were provided different options in how they pay, so the tax wouldn't be seen as an unnecessary expense for them. So unemployment is overseen on the federal level. However, each state gets to manage their own programs however they choose. Throughout the US, you can see different taxable wage bases, tax rates, benefit amounts. But today we're just going to cover information here in Alabama. When it comes to management, unemployment rates can be adjusted annually and are adjusted by experience. So for instance, if you have a year or two of bad claims, your tax rate will increase. And then most states, including Alabama, run as a risk pool. So what you put in doesn't necessarily equate to what you get out. And we're seeing that a lot of nonprofits are putting more money into that pool than what they're actually getting out of it. And then these total tax liabilities by employers are often greater than the claims paid, with reserves used in times of the recession. The tax liability is calculated by multiplying the taxable wage base by your employer tax rate. So take a guess on what a single claim can cost in Alabama. And I'll read some guesses in the Q&A box. So I have 2,300. I have 4,400. I got 2,000, 5,000, 6,375, 5,100, 2,500. So as a hint, the total cost is looking at the weekly benefit maximum times the maximum number of weeks someone can claim. And for that maximum number of weeks in Alabama, I believe it's 26 weeks. So I got 4,000. So two more guesses. I have 4,300 and 3,300. So the maximum amount a single person can claim in unemployment in Alabama can cost, oh, I got 15,000 for a last guess. It is $7,150. Just as a caveat, this is what an employer is charged for employee benefits by the state. Those extended benefits you saw in the recession and extra COVID payments, they were covered by the federal government. The maximum weekly benefit in Alabama is $275. And when we multiply that number by 26 is how we get that $7,150 for the maximum of what a single person can claim on unemployment. The federal government sets the wage base at a minimum of $7,000. There's no maximum. Alabama's taxable wage base is currently set at $8,000, which means for the first $8,000 an employee earns, your organization is taxed on that. The minimum tax rate is 0.2%. The maximum tax rate is at 5.4%, and those are both set by the state. There's also a 0.06% employment security assessment rate you would combine with your tax rate. And there's this shared cost that's added, and typically it changes each year. And currently for 2025, it's at 0%. The last thing I want to know is the improper payment rate from the last slide, which is at 13.1%. And this overpayment equates to over $25 million in overpayments to former employees who are collecting unemployment from the past 3 years. This is information we get from the Department of Labor. You can see Alabama is one of the many states that's greater than 13%. This is important to know as we really encourage you to look over your claims and make sure that you're not overpaying for anybody's claims. Here at 501, we help organizations monitor this. And if you are managing on your own, you want to make sure that you're properly charged for a former employee's weekly benefit amount. There are 3 different alternatives for unemployment. One is that you pay the state tax that we mentioned earlier with the tax rate that's set by the state and taxable wages. Another option is that you can self-insure or reimburse for your unemployment, where you just pay dollar per dollar for your unemployment claims. So you're basically only paying for the benefits issued. And then the last option is kind of a hybrid of both, where you buy insurance that offers the savings of reimbursing while also providing that safety net. Just to let you know, reimbursing isn't for everyone. The qualifications we look at for considering reimbursing is that an organization must be a 501c3 nonprofit. It excludes religious institutions. We recommend a gross annual payroll of $1 million or more, because typically if your payroll is under $1 million, especially significantly less, what you're paying into the state tax pool is probably pretty minimal, and you might not see much significant savings by opting out. However, there may be some scenarios where you could see potential savings. So we would be happy to look at your numbers, even if you're just slightly less than $1 million. And then we also look at a positive audit of the past 3 years. So that means in order for reimbursing to benefit you, we try to evaluate if what you paid each year in taxes exceeds what you pay in claims. Then we also want to make sure there isn't any major disruption in funding for the next 24 months. So we do recommend to stay with SUI if you might have anything from layoffs, reduction in workforce, losing funds, or closing programs where your tax rates may go up with experience. And then you'll probably want to wait once those claims decrease. What it means to reimburse is that your tax rate turns to 0%, and the state will bill you only for the unemployment claims you receive over the quarter. It's a great way for nonprofits to save money and be a better steward of donor dollars. The process is seamless for separate employees. No matter how your employees separated, they'll still go through the same process for EDD, where the state will determine their benefit amount based on their base period pay. The only change is how the quarterly bill is calculated. Instead of that state unemployment insurance tax, you're now only responsible for charges your organization incurs. We work with 1,500 nonprofits. Several are in Alabama. So you're probably wondering what motivates them to reimburse. In most cases, reimbursing saves money. On average, savings can be anywhere from 20 to 40% compared to paying SUI. And this is really the driver for most organizations to switch. Reimbursing eliminates any concern of changes in the state tax, such as those tax hikes you can't control. You become a better steward of donor dollars as you just pay for your actual claims than into that state pool. Because unemployment is managed by the federal government big picture, reimbursing is allowed in all 50 states. It's best with employers with over $1 million in payroll and at least 15 or more full-time employees. If you're on the borderline, we can still certainly talk, as sometimes there might be some scenarios where we can consider reimbursing for your organization. If you're smaller and reimbursing already, we can still consider you for our services and how we can help you reduce your risk. So I do want to talk about how SUI is calculated. Like I mentioned earlier, I'll be showing some real cost assessments we've done in the past. The taxable wage base is customized by each state. In Alabama, that taxable wage base is set at $8,000. all employers in the state pay the same taxable wage base. It represents the first $8,000 of an employee's earnings. There's no maximum and can increase or decrease by any amount each year. The tax rate is set annually by the state and is based on experience. To calculate the contribution amount, you multiply the taxable wage base by the tax rate. So for Alabama, it's at $8,000 times the range of 0.2 to 5.4%. This amount means that if each employee makes over $8,000, a company is paying in between $16 to $432 per employee in unemployment. Here is an example of an Alabama tax rate notice that gives us most of the information we need to do for a cost analysis for your organization. So boxes 6 and 7 that are highlighted on the right of the tax rate notice, it represents the tax rate and that employment security assessment rate we mentioned earlier that you would combine to get the tax rate. And then the notice also shows the last 3 years in benefit charges and taxable payroll. For this example, we calculated that their estimated SUI would be at around over $17,000. And based on the last 3 years, the organization paid over $13,000 in claims. This example is kind of in a gray area where the best option to continue paying SUI or reimbursing is unclear. However, seeing that the claims have been decreasing each year, this organization may consider reimbursing. The next 2 slides will show better examples of organizations with more savings and higher possibility to reimburse. Also, there isn't a need to understand everything on this document. We'd be happy to look over your numbers with you and see where you may potentially save. For this first example, or this example that we have of a human services nonprofit that we worked with, the taxable payroll was just shy of $1 million, tax rate 4.7%, estimated claims only around $200 per year. In this case, we looked at a 3-year average of claims. So they were overpaying $45,000 a year. Think of what you can do with an additional $45,000. In this next example, the taxable payroll is around $700,000, tax rate 3.38%, estimated annual claims is $5,900, estimated unemployment taxes were around $24,000, so they were overpaying $18,000. And just a little bit more about our company. We were founded in 1982 by former UCP executive John Huckstad. He was looking for ways to save money for his organization, so he came up with the idea of starting a trust. He created the first kind of grantor trust called the Joint Unemployment Compensation Trust that eventually became 501c Services, also 501c Agencies Trust. We started at about 25 members here in San Jose and have now grown to helping over 3,000 nonprofits in various ways. In 2016, John sold the company back to his employees, so we're now 100% employee owned. From our receptionist to the CEO, every member is committed to our company and serving our members, and our services are valued tremendously by our members, with our company having over a 98% retention rate. And here are a couple of testimonials our members have shared. You can also go back to these later, as I'll send the slides after the presentation. And this is a clip from our 40th anniversary celebration a few years ago. That includes testimonials from Anika Lund, Mike Hoffman from Start Early, Mary Sue and Michael Eady from CISC, Sandy Leota and Chris Marshall of Baltimore Center Stage, and Phyllis Austin and Jason Penniger from Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
What makes me passionate about working for a non-for-profit organization is because I knew I always wanted to work for a mission-driven organization.
Our mission is to work with immigrant communities so that they can achieve the American dream.
501 helps focus our service to the community by giving us more time. 501 helps us focus on serving our communities by providing services directly to our HR professionals.
The biggest benefit for working with 501 is really the transparency and ability to forecast our costs when it comes to our unemployment benefits.
They also keep our cash flow steady through claims that are sound and take a lot of the admin burden off of us so we can just stay on autopilot.
We're very grateful for all the support you provided over the last 4 decades, and we wish you continued success in the future.
Congratulations, 501, on your 40th anniversary. It's been a pleasure serving with you for the last 24 years.
And like I said earlier, we work with several Alabama nonprofits. Here's a quick snapshot of a few nonprofits here in the state and also across the US that are members. And like you heard them say in the video you just watched, our members appreciate how we save them time and relieve some administrative burdens. The first way we help nonprofits is through claims management. Our team will help you audit and protest claims. We offer unlimited access to hearing reps. Our team has a 80% average protest win rate as well. You will have a dedicated claims manager once you become a member of the trust, and all of your claims will go through an online portal where you'll be notified when a claim has been filed. So you'll go into the portal and respond to the questions. And if in any case you ever go on PTO and forget to delegate these tasks, it shouldn't be a problem. For when a claim isn't responded to in several days, it gets escalated and handled. A big part of our claims management is that our team doesn't want to see your organization overpay or get hit by those Alabama error rates. So we can audit those charges for you or prevent you from paying a claim when someone gets terminated. We want to make sure that you're managing these claims and have enough support to do so. Our HR services include 3 components. We offer access to unlimited HR consultations. We're a small, dedicated team that can answer any of your HR related questions. So if you ever have like an ongoing issue, you can develop rapport with the person. We'll support you and manage any of your HR questions. Our HR services have trainings throughout the year that are HRCI and SHROOM certified. And there's also an online knowledge library with our HR services. With the $275 maximum weekly benefits here in Alabama, our goal is to help you keep that cost as low as possible. So if you're ever laying someone off, our reemployment tool offers packages like online coaching, interview techniques, and resume writing. It's never fun to let someone go, but at least you can give them the safety net and resources to help them secure a new job faster, which in return can help your organization save more money. And the protection part is the insurance part of our program. Most of our members take our stop loss protection during catastrophic claims. And other these catastrophic claims, for managing the highs and lows of unemployment, we have the trust account. This is a reserve account owned by your organization where you would save for those possible unexpected number of claims. So I hope this sparked your interest, and maybe some of you may want to manage your unemployment through us as a reimbursing employer. If you wanted to look into potential savings, what I would need from you is your 941s or estimated payroll from 2023 to 2024 as a reimburser. If you're paying SUI, I would need a copy of your 2025 tax rate notice. It would also be helpful if you had your 2023 and 2024 tax rate notices so we can look at additional data points for you. So I currently don't see any questions, and I will be logging off in about a minute or so. And if you do come up with a question or have anything that you were interested in, please let me know in the follow-up email as well. I should be sending that to everyone by tomorrow morning, along with the HRCI and SHROOM credits and the copy of the presentation. The recording of this presentation will be sent through Zoom in about a few hours. And thank you so much again for watching this presentation. And it was great meeting everyone here and looking forward to speaking with some of you soon. So if you have any questions or anything that you wanted to reach out with, along with the follow-up email, this is my contact information, so my email and my phone number. Thank you so much again for joining and hope everyone has a great day.